bringing you the best in country and Irish music. This is your station, irishcountrymusicradio.com.
There you have it. That is, of course, Clare Hanna, otherwise known as Clanna. And I just happen to say that I love that particular song, love this lady's voice. And I'm delighted to have Clare on the air with me tonight. Clare, hello, how are you tonight?
Oh, hello, Seamus. I am doing very good. Thank you very much. Thank God. Me and my family are all keeping well, and I hope you're keeping well too.
Not keeping too bad at all. You know yourself with everything that is happening. But sure, Santi will be coming, and hopefully Santi will bring some sort of a cure or get something sorted out for the whole lot of us, and everything will run.
Hopefully they're saying Santa's getting the vaccine anyway. That's what I'm telling my children. So hopefully he'll be able to come. Him and Mrs. Claus are getting this vaccine. So,
well, as far as I know, you see, Santa Claus now, he has been given the go-ahead. He is what's known as an essential worker. So any of the boys and girls that are listening in that are worried in any way and saying, you know, I wonder will Santa, he will come. But the advice that I would give you is to put a little, one of those little bottles of sanitizer there just on the mantelpiece for when Santa arrives, just so that he's able to keep the hands clean and do the whole lot like that. So just make sure of it. What would you think, Clare?
Definitely need to make sure that's all put in place this year.
Yeah. But anyway, just play that song, You Stood By My Side, and give us a little bit of a background to that and what's happening with that song as we speak, Clare.
Okay, well, I have a friend, and she just was describing one day how she couldn't see her mother, and she is absolutely heartbroken that she stood. There's a quite a good video for it on. You can look it up on YouTube or Facebook under Clanna Music, and she was just describing just the pain that she's going through and the pain of seeing her loved one not being able to see her really and touch her. And I just came home, and it was lockdown, and I just thought I'd just throw down some lyrics. And it came together very quickly, that song, and it's called You Stood By My Side. And it really talks about, it's just really, it's an uplifting song. I don't like writing sad songs, but it's not a sad song in this occasion, but it's just an uplifting song to say that the person is still standing by their side. And just the love that is shown for the person, it can work both ways. You know, it could be a patient actually saying, you stood by my side, but this girl actually said to me, which was ironic, she said, I'm standing by my mother's side, but she stood by mine on the life. So it kind of was working both ways. So anyway, that song just happens to be, it's been used to front a campaign for all the families it's in the north and in all over the UK really, who are separated from their families through this coronavirus, and it's going on now, 9 or 10 months. Some people haven't seen their family, and just that they're campaigning to get testing and to be PPE, and also some of them, which I didn't know as well, even in the north of Ireland, some of the homes have a policy where if there's a mental health issue, they're supposed to be going in, and they're not following this policy. So I'm actually learning a lot of things myself, where that if it's somebody with advanced dementia, they should be able to let one person in to kind of see them. And it is heartbreaking, and thankfully I'm not in the situation, but I'm learning so much by just my song being used to front this campaign and the pain that they're going through, and they're saying they keep hoping it'll be over soon, but it doesn't look like that really at the minute. So that's what the song is about, really.
Yeah, and of course it's great like that you have received recognition for the song and that it is being used to front the campaign. And how did that come about, Claire, or did someone approach you?
It was this woman who I had written a song for, and then she was talking to the campaign group, and she mentioned about the song, and then a few of them got to hear it, and then they asked, could I use it? Could they use it? And then they were delighted that I was taking part in it as well, and we all ended up going to Stormont, the government buildings, one Saturday, because we put a wee video together. If anybody does want to watch the video, it's on Clanna Music on Facebook or on YouTube. And we all went to Stormont, and just to see, it was just absolutely heartbreaking. And as I said, thankfully I don't have anybody in this position, only a friend, but thankfully in my family we don't have that. But it was absolutely heartbreaking to see hundreds of people standing. They wanted a silent protest, and they were saying, we don't want any kind of, that's not about rioting, it's not about being unruly or anything, we just want to be heard. So they just stood in silence with holding pictures of their loved ones up. And it was really touching. So I was just so pleased that my song is being used to highlight their campaign, really.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic when you think of it that the way to be heard is to actually have a silent protest. I thought that was really good at the silent protest, and I think they still are campaigning because nothing much is really happening, but they still, what their point was, we don't want, they can totally understand why they're not allowed in, really, but they're in a lot of pain, and they're watching people, their loved ones in pain, and something does need to be done. So they can say that they do understand the reasons why, but there's something needs to be done really at this stage. And it is just the silent protest worked better than anything, and they definitely didn't want any kind of riots or protests or to be seen to not be peaceful. It was really peaceful, and it was heartbreaking to see. They were just holding up their pictures of their loved ones and saying, we're heartbroken, we can't wait to be. It was just unbelievable, some of the things that you saw. So, but it made you realise, and it actually highlighted for me what they are going through. So it's just nice that my song can go with that and that they can use it too. Yeah, as a wise man once said, if you want to be heard, speak softly. So
it's very true. Yeah. It is really true. So, totally. And the fact that they just held their pictures up of their loved ones said it all, really.
Yeah.
So they're just saying that if you actually go and see the video, it is quite effective.
So if you're wanting to look it up there on YouTube or on Facebook, Clanna Music, and anyone that wants to have a look at the video, and definitely. But congratulations, anyone having your song getting the recognition which your music does deserve. And now, of course, talking about your music, now how did Clare Hanna get into the music? From or what age did you decide, God, I have a great little voice here, I can sing? Or did someone notice it for you? Or give us a little bit of the background of how you got in on the music originally. Like, was it when you were a little lady, when you were a little girl, or was it as you became teenager? When was it that the music took over your life or got into your life?
Well, I suppose music has always been in my life because I've been performing just before I could even talk, I think, but I grew up in a musical family, and we were kind of immersed in the traditional Irish music, first of all. Well, a bit of everything. I think that's where my style actually comes from, is that I was brought up with so many styles of music that my father, say for example, my father loved Seamus singing, and he was a cousin of the late Clare Hanna, who was a great Seamus singer. It was one of the most famous ones in Ireland. He went through America, and so he would have brought me to all the sessions listening to him. And even though I didn't sing an awful lot of Seamus, I would have been brought up just listening to it all the time. And then my father also loves country music, so I would have just been brought up listening to Philomena Begley and Declan Nerney, and then my mother's side, where they were more kind of like classical. So my sisters and I all sang and played a mixture of classical music and traditional and country as well. So I was part of a family folk band called the Hanna Sisters.
All right,
from County Armagh. So we would have, saying round about, let me see now, about 15, 20 years ago, we would have been touring alongside. Well, we did tour alongside like the Furies and Philomena Begley and that, and around those times. And then we would have also travelled like Europe, and the traditional scene there. It was more folk rather than traditional. So we would have been doing like the Dubliners covers, and we were writing our own songs, and we did really well, like in the likes of Denmark. But then I decided just to go my own way, and I went over to London to teach, and I kept on writing. I love writing songs, so I actually wrote one of the songs. There was that the British government released. They released this first song it was about knife crime and the families affected by knife crime.
All right.
So I co-wrote that song, and I also wrote a song for the Irish Olympic team when I was in London. So then I just kept my writing kind of going from then, and I decided to release my own albums, and this is my latest one now to date. So, so just, I kind of, more than anything, I see myself as a songwriter, really. So, a songwriter and who likes to sing.
Yeah, and you have, as you say, a song about knife crime. And what was the name of that? What was the name of that song, Clare?
Who's to Say?
Who's to Say?
And it was when I was in a school in the northwest of London, and it was actually for a competition, really. And there was a lot of the kids there that were affected by knife crime. It was unbelievable that maybe 1 out of every 3 kids knew a friend or a family member who they were knifed and they were killed. So it was a real achievement that it was the first song online that the British government ever released. And it was for the criminal justice. That's who actually released it, the Criminal Justice Society in London. So
you seem to be.
And then I've gone on to even this album. I think over half of the songs are my own. That I've written myself, and a lot of them I got time during lockdown to write, so lockdown has been good to me in that respect. It gives me time.
Yeah, too much time on you'd have too much time in your hands sometimes, but it is handy to have a little bit of a break from the helter skelter and the rat race of the music, where you're constantly touring or recording or doing something that way. So, there's every cloud has a silver lining, as I say.
Yes, yeah. Oh, it was very good for me, just that I could get to write and time to. I actually got more time to spend on the music because life is very busy, and I'm a young mother, so I've got young kids, and it's hard, to get the time to get up into the room and just keep writing. So it was good that way.
And of course, congratulations are in order as well. A number of months back there, if I'm not mistaken, there was a new addition to the family.
Yes, I had a little boy 17 weeks ago, and we called him Danny, and he's doing great now. But it was a bit turbulent at the start. He had a few problems, but thankfully, thank God, he's flying now. So, as I said, I am very busy. So any opportunity I get at all to work on my music, I try and take it. So thanks very much for having me on tonight as well. So
no
it's just good to promote my album in some way.
Yeah, and so now you were out in Europe then touring, as you were saying. I'm sure there was some hectic and crazy nights out that way, or was it all go to bed early after playing your music, or?
Well, it was with a family band, so I think
You
it was more sensible then. We had to be sensible, really. I think
the old drums and rock and roll weren't going to be...
No. Well, we enjoyed ourselves, but we were 4 sisters and we had a bit of a backing band as well. But it was lovely memories, and the way that they treat musicians over in Europe is amazing. You know, everywhere we went, it was just, the hospitality was just out of this world. They really respect the musicians. So, there was plenty of drink flowing and plenty of lovely drink and food going all the time. But we would have travelled an awful lot. So maybe if we were over there for 2 weeks, you were working the whole 2 weeks every single night.
Yeah.
So in other ways, it probably wasn't about that you didn't really have time to party. And as I said, I'm the youngest of 4 girls, so I wouldn't have been getting up to too much badness. I wouldn't have been allowed to, really. So
they weren't leading you astray, like.
No, nobody leading me astray. No, they wouldn't. We would be all looking out for each other, really. So, but great memories. But we would have been, say, sound checking most days about 3 or 4 o'clock. Yeah. And then you were ready to go on the stage, about 7. So, and then maybe you would have went to bed after a show at 12, and you were up the next day ready to travel to the place. Yeah. So we could have had 2 or 3 hours travel ahead of us. So there wasn't much time for relaxation and the whole lot. But they're great memories and great times and great experiences, really.
So you were in London then, and you were teaching. What were you teaching, or what was the...
Music,
yeah, it was the music. So yeah, music was always there in the forefront as such, like,
Yes, yeah, music, and then when you're teaching music, it also, like I would have taught in a lot of schools where, London is really multicultural, but some of the schools, it was just amazing to bring Irish music into the school in some form or another. And it might have been totally traditional, but I would have taught, like in the last school I was in, I taught just teaching kids from all over the world, and I was teaching them all the folk songs, the Irish folk songs. And funny, they enjoyed that more than watching the pop stuff, because the odd day I would have put on a pop song or tried a pop song. No, miss, we want to hear a Tell Me Ma, and all the old folk stuff. They just absolutely loved.
So it was getting the reaction then, like Tell Me Ma and all that sort of stuff was getting a better reaction than the contemporary pop music was as such then, think, yeah? Yes,
and that folk kind of stuff isn't heard enough even in schools here in the north of Ireland. We heard it when we were at school, but it really is a tradition that needs to be kept going. And as I said, it's not the old style Seamus singing, it's just the folk songs that we all grew up with, really, that my own kids just love them and remember them. So there's just something about them that they remember them more, and they seem to stick in their heads compared to the pop stuff, really.
Yeah, well then again, I know I'll be shot by some people. Well, I have the modern day stuff wouldn't hold a candle to some of your traditional music anyway, like there is a reason that the traditional music has survived over all the decades, centuries as such, because, it doesn't last unless there's class to it, so there's quality.
I know. And just all those, like I used to do it myself because I was Irish over there. I used to do a big St. Patrick's Day assembly, so I'd be teaching them all the old songs, like If You're Irish, and even if they don't know how to play it, I just let them have the bore on, and they end up, they just end up taking to it okay. And I taught them all the tin whistle. So in most of the schools, they would have been playing recorders, some of them, but I got them the tin whistle, and they were flying at the tin whistle no matter what their culture was. It's just great to teach, to hand down the tradition in some way, to teach the kids the whistle.
And would you have had, because you were saying you'd have from all over the world, you'd have different traditions, no matter what part of the world you go. Even say if you had someone, say, from Jamaica or the West Indies, you're going to have your reggae. Would any of the students have been trying to fuse if your reggae with your Irish traditional music or say any music, say Hungarian, or your accordion? Well, accordion, of course, does travel. You have it from Hungary, you have it France, you have everywhere. The accordion does, Germany, everywhere like that. But would you have had different, say the kids from different cultures or traditions trying to fuse their music in with the Irish traditional music, or?
Yeah, well, when it came to these assemblies, I would have had Jamaican boys doing Macaflotly type dances, and with Indians doing drumming away to all the Irish music, and
wow.
reels, and we would have taught them a reel or a jig, and you would have had a few dobro players and Indian. The Indian drums and all, they all just joined in. But funny, they're really, out of more than, and maybe I'm a bit biased now because I am Irish, but they did enjoy the Irish music more than, because as a teacher I had to teach Indian music, but most of the kids weren't that interested in it, maybe the ones who were Indian, but maybe because I was teaching them my own culture of music, they were going about the schools singing, if you're Irish, come into the parlour, and all of the different, Galway Girl, and it is amazing how music can have an effect on kids of all cultures, but they just loved it, and even the teachers would say to me, I have a Jamaican friend, and she used to say she just loved listening to the music, and it reminded her of her childhood growing up in Kilburn with Irish people. So, it's great, and I taught them all about the famine and all about the music around the famine. I did a big festival or assembly on the famine one year and the music of the famine, and they wrote a rap about the famine. So it just goes to show there was a whole mixture of cultures, really, and that they all did enjoy the Irish music.
Wow, I'm just getting my head around the fact of, the guys doing a rap about the famine and all that. In Jamaica, of course, you see Kilburn, as you were saying, there was a great tradition of the Irish. There was so many Irish living around the area, and Irish pubs, Irish music, Irish everything as well, you see. So other cultures would have picked up on the like of that as well.
Oh yeah, totally. And as I said to you, my friend who is Jamaican, she said that's what it just reminded her of her childhood, really. So, and there's a whole, or even I had another friend who was a Muslim lady, and she said that the things that she remembered about the Irish was the hymns, and she was working in a school as well, but she said she went to a Catholic school in England, and that's, that brought back memories for her as well. So just goes to show the Irish were out there for years teaching as well. So the Irish hymns that was her memory, even though she was brought up in a Muslim culture.
Yeah, surprising. Music is the great uniter, isn't it? It's able to unite people in so many different ways. I
know.
Yeah.
And the memories that it brings up for people, and as you were saying earlier, I thought it was I was pleased by your compliment that you liked the second violin.
Yeah.
But that song brings up a lot of memories for people years ago listening to Bagatelle.
Yeah.
So it was a compliment that you said that you enjoyed my version of it.
Well, what I actually said was that I would be a huge fan of Bagatelle, and I would be very sort of pernickety about anyone doing a cover version of a Bagatelle song, and that your version of second violin would be one that I would actually be I'd like to listen to, that I would actually consider it to be good enough to be a cover of a Bagatelle song. So, and that would be a fair compliment, because as I say, I'd be very fussy about anyone doing a cover of Bagatelle. It's just, yourself.
I know.
So
thank you for very much. That is a compliment now altogether. But that one was in my first album, that Under Illusions album.
Yeah.
So my current album that I'm promoting at the minute, Surprisingly Grounded, has a real mixture of country and Irish covers as well as my own songs. So I covered the Alan Jackson hit, The Older I Get, which seems to be the one that everybody has really gone for, really. So I was so pleased with how that went down. And once again, I didn't think that song would go as well as what it did, but it has taken off, and it took off on social media, and it's still doing very good. And I also covered there's a Ags Conley, do you know him? He's a more traditional, like, English country songwriter, and I covered a couple of his songs, and they've gone down well in the country scene, really, in the UK. So, as well as that, then I love the Irish folk classics. That's just what I'm brought up with. So I did Mary Black's Once in a Fairy Blue Moon, and then Christy Hennessy's Remember Me.
Yeah.
And that one also, I did a little video for that song, and it's just dedicated to all the victims of coronavirus. So I get so many people contacting me saying, you know, I've lost somebody, and it's really heartbreaking. So at least it's just kind of a tribute to everybody who has lost their lives, really. So, and that's a beautiful song by Christy Hennessy. You know that one, Remember Me?
I do, yeah. Christy was a great songwriter.
Oh, beautiful. That song's it's just such a beautiful song, really.
Yeah, and when you're talking about writing songs yourself, and where does the inspiration come? Because I'm always fascinated. You see, I like writing a little bit of poetry myself, you know, and I'm always fascinated about the mindset of, you know, of how someone gets in. You know, where does a song come from? You know, like because I had Kathy Crinnion on here last week, and I've had Max T. Barnes. Actually, Max T. Barnes was on a couple of weeks ago, and he said that songwriting was something like chopping wood. And then another analogy he used was going into a grocery store and saying, I'll take a bit of that there, and a bit of that over there, and just throw it all into the one basket. So what way does the song where does the song come from to you, Clare?
Well, for me, the songs, there's sometimes they come so easy, and I think the ones that do actually, I am very good writing when I've got like a stimulus to write about.
Yeah.
So, for example, just hearing that friend describe about her mother, and a couple of phrases stood out in my mind, and I just thought, God, there was just a couple of things she said, and I wrote them down, and then I thought that would be a good idea for a song. And that song came together in like 2 hours, where I just tried to put the story together, and it came together really, really quickly. There's other times where I could sit for night after night after night, and I can't come up with even an idea. So it seems to be that it comes quicker to me when somebody, even if somebody, for example, that one with the knife crime, you were given a criteria to write about. And I'm very good if I'm given the criteria, or if somebody asks me to write a song for them. For example, my friend asked me to write a song about her child. So everything can come easily that way. But there's other times where it comes very slowly for me when I don't have the initial idea. But other times, like one of my major hits was Angels May Call, and that song came to me in about 10 minutes, and that is brilliant. And then another time, one of my other songs could take up to a month, because I'm kind of, as you said, I'm chopping and chopping away at it and changing and chopping, and so sometimes it just comes easily, and then other times it doesn't. So, but I do think if you have the idea and you can get a bit of peace to sit in a room with quiet and time to think with no distractions, I think it will come quicker, really. So there's too many distractions these days, I think, for everybody. For even if you were a songwriter or not a songwriter, there's too many phones and Facebooks and social media and different things going on, TVs and advertisements. I think the best thing for me is just to sit in a room with no distractions. Really would be the thing that eventually some ideas will come. So I don't know about you. I don't know if that's good advice.
But the music now, say the music part of the song then, if you have, say, if the words come, where does the music come with that, or does the tune, or what way does that work? Like, I mean, is it just the chords, or is it where do they come from after, or is it all in one? Does it just come flowing out at one time? Words and music?
I would say most of the time I would start with a melody.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not a great piano player, I played it years ago, but I would have my keyboard in front of me and just sit and, fiddle around with a few notes and a few different things, and sometimes just come up with a chorus, and then if I can come up with a bit of a melody, and then if I can put that together with my idea for my song, I usually just get a one-liner that would, like You Stood By My Side.
Yeah.
For example, just that one line, that was the line from the start where I thought, I want this song to be You Stood By My Side. So everything else is kind of written around that one line. It's kind of the hook. So, so that's the way I work it most times, or an odd time I would be using my guitar, where I would just be strumming chords and try and get a tune in my head, and if the tune comes, then some sort of words or one sort of a phrase will come to me.
Yeah.
So that would be, most of the time that's what it's like.
Yeah.
So, but as I said to you, it's getting the time and no distractions is a big help, really. But when you're 3 young kids, it's not that easy.
No, not a bit. Actually, when you're talking about kids, it was a little niece of yours on your Under Illusions album. You had Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears, and you had a little girl. Was that a niece of yours?
Yes, that's my sister's little girl, Kate Lavery. And when she was doing that video, she was 5. So she's actually
brilliant.
8, 9 now.
Yeah.
And she's still singing. She's got into like more church type singing.
Yeah.
And she's a great wee singer. And she's going to be a little star, really. She's a lovely wee singer, and she just suited that song so much as well.
Yeah,
that was Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears.
Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears, yeah. If anyone gets a chance, definitely check it out there on YouTube, because it's Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears, and it's just this little, what did you say her name was again, sorry?
Kate Lavery.
Kate,
and she was
Kate,
5 then.
and she was only 5, and it's because usually the song is just sung straight through, but you had her doing all you had her doing a lot of the words of it as such,
yes.
like.
Yes, well, I kind of wanted it to be the song kind of to reflect what it was like for a child going over to Ireland at that time, or going over to America.
Ellis Island, yeah.
So for Annie Murphy, what it must have been like, and the ship, and her singing it from a child's perspective, and then I came in the last verse from the adult perspective of it. So it was quite effective, and it's gone down really well in America, that one.
Yeah, no, it was very, very well done. And fair play to Kate, and definitely I'll have to get Kate on in a few years' time as well for a chat, if she's going to be as big a star as what I think she will be. Yes.
Oh no, she is. Well, as I said to you, my sisters we all sing. So Kate is definitely one of the next generation who's going to be a star, I think.
Yeah, as the fella says, it's in the breeding. So you'll definitely, definitely. It's, so anyway, you were saying you're in London, and at what stage did you decide to come back from London then to Armagh?
Well, I had 2 children, and I decided that I just wanted to come home really to my family.
Yeah.
That it was just it was time to come home. I was working over there and I had a lovely job and everything was good over there and life was good, but still you just get to a stage where you miss your family and you miss the Irish culture. And I was missing all things Irish, really, so I decided to come home a couple of years ago, and we just upped sticks and moved back to County Armagh, and thank God everything's been going good, and the children are just loving it back here, and this is their home now, and I don't have any regrets, really, even though I loved London, and the high life of London is just amazing, and I enjoyed my youth in London, but it was time to come home and see my mother, really, as well.
Yeah, you can't beat the Irish mammy. You have to...
Oh, no, you can't at all.
And hello to my own mammy out there as well, Nellie, if you're listening in. Hello. Have to keep on the good side of her, you know, yourself.
Oh, yes, you better give her a mention now.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to give a mention to a few people that have sent in hellos to you there as well. Margaret Cleary says to say hello to you.
All right. Hello, Margaret.
And then there's Ron Hinsley is listening in there in Wolverhampton over there in England as well.
Oh, hello.
And Michelle Orr is listening in. She's there in a place called Bedford. I'm sure it's not too far. Well, it's a little bit up the road there from London. So I'm sure you know it as well. And
hello, Michelle.
And Fiona Brown is listening in. And she says to say hello to you.
Oh, hello, Fiona. That's good that you're all listening in.
And Tommy Keogh is listening in down there with the family in Blackwater in County Wexford, near my own part of the woods, as the fella says. And say hello there, if you could, to Tommy as well.
Hello, Tommy. I hope you're keeping well.
And now Nicola Arnold is listening in, but more importantly, the twins, yes, Aoife and Ian are celebrating their 12th birthday today. So if you wouldn't mind saying a quick happy birthday. Happy birthday
to Aoife and Eve. Is Aoife and Eve?
Ian,
is that right?
Ian, yeah, Aoife and Ian. Ian is he's a kind of he's a smaller version of Jerry Guthrie. I'm sure you know Jerry on the scene. And,
yes.
Well, if you saw Jerry Guthrie in action and singing and the like, well, this is a kind of a miniature version of Jerry. He knows more words of Jerry's songs than Jerry does himself. And Jerry has admitted to that, like, so.
Well, happy birthday to them. Hope they have a good one.
Yes, and Maureen Burke is listening in, and she says that she absolutely loves your version of The Older I Get. So,
thank you. As I said to you, that one seems to be the biggest hit out of all of my songs. Everybody just loves that one, The Older I Get.
Yeah, so you're, as you say, you're promoting the new album anyway, Surprisingly Grounded, and it's going very well for you, you're saying. Yes, I'm just really pleased with how it's going, and I think it's just the mixture of it, of all of the bit of country and a bit of Irish, and people from all over the world love it. So it's great that, as you said, modern technology. I can sit here in County Armagh tonight, and somebody in America will be texting me and saying they're listening to The Older I Get. I've got a lot of fans from like South Africa and different places. So just the modern technology is amazing that I can still promote my music and still put my music out there and still be a mother and still be here at home as well to look after my children and promote my music. And it's just, I send packages out to people, and I do a lot of promotion. It's all online, so it's amazing that this can be done during a pandemic, really. Yeah, and actually when you're talking about getting it across the world, Lev and Gloria Jackman are listening in over there in New Brunswick, over there on the far side of the Atlantic, as the fella says in Ireland. So, hello to Lev, yeah, Lev, Lev and Gloria. Right. Lev does a little bit of singing himself, and so he'd be no shy one on the stage, I'd say, Lev. Yeah. And Gloria, of course, is the real boss. You know, Lev might think he is, but it's really Gloria. Well, that's what I'm told anyway. That's what Lev tells me, and that's what Gloria tells me. And they're listening in, and they always love the interviews, but they're enjoying your interview as well.
All right, thank you very much. That's great, and I hope they're all keeping well as well. Hope we just wish everybody good health and happiness.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to when music gets back on the road again, we'll be able to go to see you, catch you on the stage and the like, and I'm presuming you had plans on doing a lot of stage work, or did you? When you're, is it solo appearances you do, Clare, when you're out on the stage now, or do you have a backing band? Is it just appearances, or what way do you work?
Well, I haven't any plans coming up at the minute because of the coronavirus, but if I get on the road, I would like, when I get on the road and everything gets back to normal, hopefully by next year, at some stage I will be out and I would be using a live backing band, really. I'd like to get round to theatres and show off most of my new album, really, to all the audiences. So that's what my plans are, really. And not everything is on hold at the minute.
Yeah, it's very, very hard to give a definite on anything now at the moment. Like, I work in a post office myself, and people come in and say, will that be there by Friday? You say, how long is a piece of string? Because there's no definite in this world at the moment anyway. So
I know, everything is up in the air, so I think we just have to take it one day at a time, and that's the way I look at it. There's no point in making plans, really. It's just one day at a time.
No, but it was great to have you on, Clare, anyway. And
thank you very much,
I've loved your voice from the first time I've heard it. I've loved your voice, and I'm just absolutely delighted to get you on for a bit of a chat and to find out a little bit about the lady behind the voice. And hopefully we're going to hear a lot more from you over the next number of years. And
thank you. Thank you.
And anyone that's wondering where they can catch more, it's Clare, it's Clanna Music, isn't that right?
Yes, Clanna Music. It's my name put together is Clare Hanna, so I'm called Clare Hanna, but it's Clanna, Clanna, and all of the social media. If you look up Clanna Music, you should find my songs and my videos. They're all on YouTube as well to listen to.
Yeah, and if anyone wanted to buy your music, you'll get it on Clanna Music as well, will they?
Yeah, if you want on the website, it's clanna.co.uk. But if you type it in anywhere, you will get it online, or I'm posting out packages to people if they want CDs as well. They just go onto the website and buy it. The hard copy of the CD. Yeah,
and you might even sign it for them as well if they ask nicely.
Yes, if they ask nicely, or if they ask at all, they don't even have to ask nicely. I'll sign it for them. Not a bother.
Lovely. Well, it's great to have had you on, Clare, and I've really enjoyed a bit of a chat. And
okay, thank you, Seamus. I really appreciate it too, and wishing you all the best for 2021, and hopefully I'll be on again soon.
Yeah, hopefully, definitely. And we're going to leave you with one of your own here, as the fellow says. Well, I'm wondering now, should I play The Older I Get or Second Violin? Which one do you think I should play, Clare?
Maybe The Older I Get. I like that one.
The Older I Get.
People love that one. But then again, your favourite is Second Violin. So
I might sneak it in before the end. I might sneak it in before the end of the show just for divilment. Lovely. Thanks a million, Clare.
Right,
great to have you on.
Thanks very much, Seamus.
Clare,
all the best.
Otherwise known as Clanna. Definitely check her out, Clanna Music. And this is Clare and The Older I Get.
The older I get, the more I think.
Bringing you the best best in country and Irish music. This is your station, irishcountrymusicradio.com.